abroad for Hispanic and Latinx students. I'm Cristina Martinez Carazo. I'm the faculty director of UCAP in Spain. And I will show you a bit about the programs that we have in Spain and Latin America for Hispanic and Latinx students. I would like to introduce first the teams that we have in Spain, Mexico, and Chile. So in Barcelona, you will be working with Gemma de Blas, Patricia Lopez. In Madrid with Rocío Navas and Sara Tavares. In Mexico with Verónica Telles. And in Chile with César Noriega. I'm going to start this presentation with a short clip with two students who are currently studying in Barcelona.
As an Hispanic student, do you feel comfortable practicing your Spanish and interacting with Spaniards?
Oh yeah, so comfortable. My Spanish isn't the best, but like it does help me practice it a little bit more, especially with this, local people, the students here. And even then, someone do know English, so if in case they do have difficulty speaking Spanish or just translating a simple word, like they could help me out, or like there's easier way like for us to communicate too.
Yeah, I do relate.
I was nervous at first, just because there's always so many different types of different ways to say things in Spanish, especially back in the United States. Every region has its own way of communicating. So I was nervous about speaking Spanish in Spain, but as I'm doing it now in person, I find myself replacing okay with vale. So I feel so comfortable.
Okay, here we have a map of the multiple geographical areas where Spanish is spoken. I think that this is a very good indicator of the way that Spanish has around the world. I'm going to share with you now some data, some graphs that are going to show how the presence and relevance of the Spanish language is increasing. First of all, as you see, the Hispanic population is significantly increasing by the year 2050. They calculate that 28% of the population in the US will be Hispanic. Spanish is also the fastest growing language in the world, another key indicator for the future of our language. This graph is very interesting in my opinion. It shows you the way that Spanish has in an Anglophone country. So in North America, we have 34% of people speaking Spanish. Look at the small difference with South America. Okay, here are some facts that reinforce our idea. Spanish is the second most spoken language in the world. 21 countries speak Spanish. 572 million people speak Spanish worldwide. And then 477 million are native speakers. There is very interesting data here that Spanish is the third most used language on internet. As you well know, internet is the space where the vast majority of the population is moving. It's the most multicultural and cosmopolitan area today. This is also a very interesting graph. As you see, Latino students participating in study abroad in the year 2000 was only 8,300. Now, 20 years later, is almost 38,000. It has multiplied by 4. We are moving in the right direction, but as you can see, the data from the University of California show that we still have a big margin to improve. As you can see here, there is a disparity between the number of Hispanic Latino undergrads in the UC system, 55,000, almost 66,000, 24% of the student body population, but only 18% of them participate in education abroad. We need to change that. We need to reverse that reality, okay? Our goal is to balance the presence on campus with the presence abroad. This is also a very interesting graph that shows the participation of underrepresented communities in study abroad. Again, we see that it's moving in the right direction. So in the last 10 years, roughly, from 2008 and 9 to 2018 and 19, it has increased an 11%, but still, as you see, doesn't represent the percentage in factual population. This little wheel is still more explicit. The Hispanic Latino population participating abroad is 11%, a lot less than what the population itself represents at a national level. Okay, here are a few facts that are, in my opinion, relevant. Spanish is one of the 6 official languages of the United Nations. It is the 3rd most used language in the media, again, being the media the most populated space. And 10% of the language used in internet is Spanish. By 2100, minority groups in the US will make 60% of the population, the majority being Latinos. Then Latinx makes the largest group of admitted freshmen in 2021 at the UC, 36%, almost 80,000 students. We need to take all of them abroad. What would you get as a Latinx student going to Latin America or Spain? Well, you will learn what living in a Hispanic country means for you as a Latinx, how your cultural identity dialogues with the identity of people from Latin America and Spain, how the Hispanic immigrants in Spain negotiate their own identity, and how the problematic historical legacy of Spain shapes up the relations between Latin America and Spain. All that through experiential learning makes a lot more sense than when you read it on a book. Okay, let me go to the 10 top reasons to study abroad. There are many more, but we're going to focus only on those. So speaking Spanish makes you more employable. This is a fact. In equal conditions, employers prefer multicultural, multilingual people. Then explore your heritage in Latin America or Spain. This really adds to the knowledge of your own culture. Improve your proficiency in the Spanish language, and also learn about the different registers that we have in different countries. Then you will see the world and broaden your personal experience. You will get a new perspective of your own culture and your own country. It is true that in order to know your own culture, you need to put it in contrast with another one. And then you will see that there is nothing better or worse. Things are just different, but that gives you a very clear perspective. Then you will improve your professional profile and your financial potential. Research shows that multilingual people have better jobs. So you will develop also new relationships out of your own country. This is a very neat thing to have when you get older, knowing people in other countries. Then you will fight stereotypes, your own stereotypes and others also. You will shape your future according to the parameters of our global society. And last but not least, you will enjoy immensely this experience and you will remember it forever. Let's debunk a few myths. First one, study abroad is too expensive. This is false. There are many programs that cost the same as staying in California and some programs that are even less expensive. Then it is a vacation. No, it's not a vacation. It's a great educational experience that hopefully will also be enjoyable. So you can kill 2 birds with a stone. Then study abroad is just for girls. This is false. Study abroad is for everybody, regardless the gender, ethnicity, sexual orientation, religion, cultural values. This is a golden experience that you need to take advantage of. Then there is nothing abroad that I could not learn at home. This is also false. experiential learning has proven to be the most effective one to develop new skills. And it will not change my professional life. Yes, it will. Again, employers know the value of being multilingual and having a solid knowledge of different cultures. And then it is now safe. Well, for responsible people, it is as safe to be here at home as to be abroad. All you need to be is just responsible and aware of your surroundings. Let me share with you a few opinions, a few views from students. Heritage programs provide students the opportunity to find their place in the world. They're the reason why I study abroad. I see the value of them, but I think that it's incumbent on education abroad advisors and administrators to discuss the relationship that students are going to have there. I would have benefited from discussing potential ways this experience could unfold. That would have helped me process the experience. And well, just to close this quote, just we are here to help you process this experience all along the process. Another quote, your experience will be different in Spain and Latin America. It all depends on the type of experience that you're looking for. In both instances, it will help you know the roots of your culture and with all the complexities that it entails. And finally, the last one, some students feel that they don't have a space in the country where their family comes from. They are perceived as gringos, not as Hispanic. At the same time, they don't feel related to their peers abroad. At this point, they will learn what it means to come to terms with the meaning of being multicultural. Well, let's move now to another factor that is very important for us, Hispanic. Our family, our parents play a key role in our decisions. So how could you talk to them about that? First of all, tell them about your interests early. Show them that the cost is almost the same, or again, it could be lower than staying in California. Prove to them that you are a responsible young adult. Research and inform your parents about your destination country. That will give them peace of mind. Then involve them in the planning process. Set the way that you will be in touch with them from abroad. This is also very important. And then show them your confidence in the value of studying abroad. If you are confident, you are going to transmit these feelings to them. Here is a key question that many researchers are exploring, and I think that it would be good to devote a minute of our time here. Why male Hispanic students don't go abroad that much? First, we talk about lack of role models. Again, we can reverse that. Then there is a sense of loyalty to their families. This sense of loyalty is going to stay with you when you are abroad. You know, being abroad doesn't mean breaking your ties with your family. Then students and families feel that they should stay at home contributing financially. Well, let me tell you something. I think that one of the best investments that you can make during your undergraduate years is just going abroad. Then the assumption that education abroad is for girls, we already mentioned that point. And then the attachment to their communities at home and on campus. Well, again, you're not going to break these attachments. On the contrary, you're going to bring a lot back. You're going to add a lot of value to your communities. And then finally, lack of information about programs and internships that match their interests. Well, this is the reason why we are here. At UCAP, we have all the resources and all the advisors to help you choose the best program for you. Let me move to my second and last clip before I present the programs in the Hispanic world.
What you tell to future Hispanic students interested in study here in Barcelona? What
I would say do it. Like it may be like something new to you, just being out of like the country, but I would say do it. Like I took the extra step just to like stay an extra year, just so then I have the opportunity to study here, which is pretty amazing. it's a decision I will never regret. And even then, just being exposed to something new is so amazing. Even then, just for like, I guess, job opportunities, like saying, hey, I studied here, like even just like, for example, for me, like I would like to like even study here for my master's. Like, I fell in love with it so much, and even just extending my program from fall to like a year long.
Yes.
It's amazing. You will not regret it for sure. Like there's so much like new stuff that you get exposed to, so much that you love about it. Yeah.
And what you tell to future Hispanic students that
Yeah,
are considering to study here?
As a Hispanic student, I think it was very important to come to a country that has influenced my family's country, which is Mexico. And I traveled to Mexico a lot, and I can see the influences in architecture and the food, and it's so cool to be here and live that, and then to be able to tell my family back home and tell them, oh, this is where this originated from. Or even to go to the beautiful churches and see that common thread, which is, you know, religion or whatever you may practice, the language. I speak to my mom more in Spanish now than in Spanish. I'm actually here learning those words every day.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let me talk now about the programs that potentially will have an added value for you, for Hispanic students, especially. Okay, we have a program at the University of Barcelona, Spain, and what are you going to see and to learn there? You will be immersed in the Mediterranean lifestyle, a very unique dimension in terms of culture, food, social relations. Then you will have multiple academic options. The University of Barcelona is a huge university with very much all the majors in humanities and STEM. You will also be able to study in English, Spanish, or Catalan. And you will have quite a few excursions to familiarize you with the history, culture, and food of this area. We have another program also in Barcelona at the Universidad Pompeu Fabra. This program is for business and economics. This is a program in English. The UPF is a very young university with a great reputation in Spain, especially for business and economics. The classes are offered in English, but you have the opportunity of taking classes in Spanish. Here we are at the Complutense. The Complutense is located in Madrid, the capital of Spain. Madrid is in the center of the country, so it's very easy. It will be very easy to move from Madrid to the rest of the country. It's very well communicated. They say that it's the greenest capital city in Europe. I'm not that sure about that, but if they say that, it's probably true. What is true is that it's a very, very welcoming city and a very cosmopolitan one. One of the main comments that people make when they arrive in Madrid is that they feel comfortable. They never feel like foreigners. So you will have a truly immersive experience here. And again, you can study in Spanish and in English. Then the Carlos III, this is a young university with a great reputation in Spain. It's very modern, and it follows very much the parameters of American universities. Here you also have courses in humanities, in STEM, and you can take classes in English and in Spanish. At the Carlos III, they also have an international school created with international students in mind, with a lot of interesting classes. Then Chile. I cannot imagine a better place to study ecology and sustainability. Just look at this landscape. It's really amazing. So what you will learn here, you will learn a lot about methodologies related to sustainability. You will be able to connect and to interact with the Mapuche people and see the natural resources that they have. You will also be able to participate in research through different excursions and different field trips with an academic purpose. And also, even though the program is in English, you will have the opportunity to practice your Spanish and to improve it. Also, you will be living with host families that again, will give you an internal view of what the Chilean society is. And then this program in Argentina about immigration of Asians to Argentina. This is a reality that we are not very familiarized with. That is a fascinating cross of cultures. The University of Buenos Aires has one of the best Asian study programs in Latin America. You will also have a lot of field trips to expand your experience, and you will be able to take a class in Spanish to, make your life easier in a foreign country if your Spanish is not very solid. Then this is a multi-site program about human rights and historical memory. You will spend a semester in Buenos Aires and another one in Santiago de Chile. I cannot imagine of two better countries to know the meaning of human rights and of historical memory. As you may know, the two of them, Argentina and Chile, had very rough dictatorial regimes for many years. So the transition to a democracy has been really complex and rich. So you will have field trips to memory sites to understand the policies and the reality that the victims were living through during the dictatorship. And you will also have a short course in Spanish. Then Mexico City, the UNAM. This is one of the most prestigious universities in Latin America, one of the biggest one, and you will get a true immersion in the culture of Mexico. And this is also a very interesting multi-site program. You could spend a semester at the UNAM and another one in the UC Center in Sacramento, studying social justice and public policy. This is a great opportunity to get familiarized with NGOs in Mexico and to know the local government here, to know the government here in Sacramento. You will also develop a lot of leadership skills that will be useful for any situation or any job in your life. Then there's another opportunity to do research in many areas of Mexico. So you could do research for 5 weeks in Oaxaca, Puebla, Yucatan, Chiapas, Querétaro, or Mexico City, and also interact directly with NGOs. This is a great opportunity to really get close to the population. And then last but not least, the Spanish in Mexico, contemporary history in the Casa de California. This is a beautiful building surrounded by pre-Hispanic buildings that will help you put in dialogue the past and the present of Mexico. And finally, I would like to share with you, to remember that we were talking about leaders in the Hispanic community, I would like to share with you a very interesting quote from the first Latino director of the Peace Corps, Gary Vasquez. Look what he says: as a nation, we must do more to reach out to the world and bridge cultural and social understanding. Well, this is the main role of education abroad. I'm going to leave you here with the next steps to participate in education abroad, okay? The first one is to explore the UCAP website and then get all the help that you need from us, from UCAP, from me from Spain, from whoever is going to help you make a well-educated decision. And please remember again that being in a Hispanic country doesn't mean that you can study only in Spanish. There are many, many options to study also in English. And this is the end of the presentation. Thank you very much to everybody for your attention.